Tears of the Kingdom is something very special to me as a creative because it is one of those games that finely tuned how creative I had to be in order to have a good time. And I'm not gonna lie, watching the trailers, I thought that I would have to bend over backwards and essentially create a theorem on how to solve some of these puzzles, and it wasn't so. It felt like a creative refresher, if you will. And that's one of the things that I really like about the building mechanic in particular, is the fact that Nintendo didn't drain my creative pool while I was playing the game. They could have easily done that. There was something very rudimentary and kind of simple about the puzzles that I kept liking that kept me very entertained. It was almost therapeutic in a sense. And I love when games show a side of my creativity that I don't really get to experience. My creativity is hard on me because it makes sure that I put out great work, which in turn inspires me to play more games so I can be more inspired to keep creating. So right now my creative tank is full. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Jabulani Ori, aka Jabu, lifelong artist, lifelong gamer that loves to talk about the visuals in games. Unfortunately, this video is going to have to be for those who have already completed the game. I just cannot talk about the whole experience without showing the various visuals later on in the game. I'm not going to talk about the story, but there will be certain things in this video, certain footage in this video that might make you put two and two together and spoil things for you. So I am just giving a hearty warning to please watch this video after completing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You have been warned. But come back and watch it after you finish, of course. I appreciate every click, like, comment I can get. And by the way, I read all the comments. So long story longer, it is definitely, in my opinion, better than Breath of the Wild. And I know people are gonna say, but Breath of the Wild had that first initial breath of fresh air. But I feel like it was kind of a rough draft to what we got here. Okay, this game is beautiful. The reason why it's so beautiful is because I can tell on a technical level that yes, this is not flexed in the specs like Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Yote, Ghost of Tsushima, and all of these games, God of War Ragnarok, that use cutting edge graphics to get its visuals across. Yes, it's not doing that, but with the little polygons that it does have, because keep in mind, this was a Switch 1 game. So, of course, the power is not as powerful on the graphical end. Because of this limitation, I believe they had to be more creative. The less options you have is the more your mind starts imagining how to fit those limitations together to create a very strong voice. So within this game, even though things are simplified, because again, they're working with less polygons, the clarity in which the art comes across is really, really strong. And this lower polygon count leads me to my first absolutely favorite thing about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And that is the beautiful layered cake of a world that we have, Hyrule itself. Woo, this is what I have in my notes. I absolutely love the depth of this Hyrule. From the very first time Link bass drops from the sky, I was in awe. I know I saw it in the trailer, but it hits different when it's on this big ass screen. Very different. I felt like the wind was coming up onto my locks, and I felt that depth within that drop. It was incredible. Speaking of screen, I just had to fix that. I truly underestimated how massive this world would be. The LOD, you know, like the loading distance, isn't perfect. You'll be falling and you'll see things pop up in the background here and there. And honestly, given the amount of games that I've played, that type of stuff doesn't really bother me anymore. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not gonna take me out of the immersion. I'm too much of a veteran player to make that bother me. One of my favorite things to do in this game is to start from any given island And like a dart to a bullseye, I bass drop through the atmosphere, past main Hyrule, down to them depths, which was probably one of my favorite parts in the game because I couldn't see where I was going. So we know as human beings, when we're in a dark place, what happens? Our minds take over and we start imagining what's behind the veil of darkness. And that led to some intriguing exploration. It's why I love Elden Ring so much. So Hyrule, the world of Hyrule, just stunning. Seeing the geoglyphs from above twinkle like beautiful illuminated portraits, only to go there and see it closer and still be amused at the amount of beauty that this game captures. It's really, really breathtaking, especially Hyrule Castle. And I know, yeah, the interior of Hyrule Castle is not the best, but I like the theme of Hyrule Castle. One of my favorite Zeldas is in fact this Zelda, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This is the Wii U HD remake or whatever. I like Twilight Princess in particular because of its dark visual tone. The dark visual tonality that is used to tell its story is one of my favorite Zelda themes ever. This game had a nice balance of both. You have some of the most beautiful, fantastical environments, but in certain areas of the game, you felt very grungy, almost like as if you're walking through infested magic. The gloom that cradles and holds Hyrule Castle, in my opinion, is very striking visually. The black dark ink with the red outline on top, constantly in motion, like the chaos it represents, is stunning. Oh, and I gotta give a shout out. Whoever was the person, because I have no idea where it came from or who came up with it, whoever invented the hover bike, because somebody mentioned it in the comments of one of my videos, and I was like, hover bike? I've never heard of a hover bike. And I found a short on how to make the hover bike. So every time I would need a hover bike, I would just auto build it. So on to the abilities. Nintendo wisely built the Ultra Hand around the sense of exploration. Building was a breeze, easy to maneuver, easy to construct. Rewinding objects with recall felt so good I kept finding excuses to use it. Every time one of them big ass blocks, as I explained in my last video, will fall from the sky, I would get on top, rewind just to see where I'll end up in the upper atmosphere of Hyrule. Ascend took the cake for me. That power, Ascend, is incredible. And the thing that I like most about this power is the fact that you can use it practically anywhere. If you're in the depths and you hit the right polygon with Ascend, Link flies or swims or swims through the ceiling, comes out on top, and of course the time is frozen so the player can have the choice, which I think is another smart move, whether he or she wants Link to come out of the ground or go back down. And that kind of power, I felt like in the right hands can do a lot of damage. In this game, one of my most hated things are the Boko I even hate saying the name, the Bokoblins, the Bokoblins, or whatever the hell they're called. They stress me out because they're designed too well. Those pig-like creatures are based on the original pig-nosed Ganon. That's why they look like pigs, because Ganon used to be a big pig. So when I would see them, I would hate seeing them. I hate the way they sound. I hate what they wear. I hate how they make their little encampments. I wanted to exterminate every last one of them. And the fact that the game provided me with Ascend, oh, it was on. I would just go under a platform, come up, take a little peek, set some bomb off, or just cause havoc in their camp, taking down the whole lot of them. And it felt fantastic. I just love Ascend. It is my favorite power, and it looks the best in my opinion. That would lead me on to the combat in the game. As I said, I don't like any goblins because they're not called goblins. They all have these weird ass names. I loved fighting them, and I've heard people say the combat in the game is basic, but I feel like those people missed half of the combat. The point of the combat is to use your creativity, because you know Link is an archer, he's always had a bow and arrow. The fact that you can slow down time, take your time and strategically add an arrowhead that can cause all kind of damage at any given given time in combination with Ascend is insane. And then the kicker to the combat is that it kept adding more items into the fold. So because the game keeps adding more items into the fold, I got more and more creative with how to use them. Typically in RPGs, and I know this is not an RPG, I tend to not use my items. I tend to save an item hoard. I would save all the Phoenix Downs, all the elixirs, all that stuff. But Nintendo forces you to break that. And that brings me on to talk about the durability system. I love and hate the durability system. I've seen some people vehemently speak against it. I can't blame them because, again, not having item permanence is kind of a drawback given the legacy of items within Zelda games. But to a person who tends to love thinking outside of what is being presented to me within combat systems, i.e. a game like Baldur's Gate, I love that game so much. I kind of like the fact that I have to keep making weapons, okay? I like it. Like, I'll take down a boss, that boss will leave a part, and I'll add it to a broadsword, and then it becomes a club. And I love that. I just think it's fantastic. It was just so fun to me. One of my favorite things in this game is actually the physics engine. You got these tall hobo goblins, and I'll just call them hobo goblins because I never get the name right. Those tall ass hobo goblins, you know, with the long, elongated snouts, they're so easy to pick off with the arrow placed in the right place that they became a target, like a priority target for me. So the fact that when you hit them with the arrow, they kind of just get stiffened and like lob over is like perfect. And that is because the physics system makes your defeated enemies flail around like some kind of rag doll. And I really love that. I really loved it. Another thing that I really like in this game is actually Link. One of my favorite Links is actually the Link from The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. And the reason why I love that Link in particular, Toon Link, is because of how expressive his face can be. Because his face is like essentially round and they simplify his facial features to the point of large geometric objects, they're easy to read. So that is good design. When you can just look at a fictional character and tell what they're feeling in an instant without kind of guessing whether they're mean mugging or sad, then that's a win. That's a big win. So Tears of the Kingdom Link has great facial animations and just overall animations in general. He's very expressive. Cold Link, like when he's freezing cold, is freaking hilarious. It reminds me of Minnesota winters. Right? I mean, I don't shiver like that because it's embarrassing, but that's how I feel inside. And Nintendo somehow captured that very well. So we all know Link doesn't talk, but that doesn't mean he cannot be very expressive, and they nailed it here. A stylized art direction means facial expressions land without the need for ultra complex rendering. Cartoons do the same thing, like, you know, old Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny cartoons. You may notice they're very expressive. You can do so much by just simplifying because it becomes a clearer visual language. Every character in this game is just well designed, especially the main cast of characters. Major props to them for putting in the character bios and character art in the game. But I think my favorite was actually Ganondorf, man. It was definitely Ganondorf. This game actually solidified how much I love this character at my age. I'm starting to see the different layers of villainy and how they evolve over the years to become eerily menacing and manipulative, like Sephiroth. Thinking back to Wind Waker, that game had one of the dopest designs of Ganon. And I, in fact, have a little statue of that Ganon. This is the Ganon from The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. So I really like the design choice that Nintendo made to go from pig-like Ganondorf to the Ganon that we have now that I would like to dub the Akuma-style Ganon, because the new Ganons really remind me of Akuma from Street Fighter. This is definitely my favorite rendition or design of Ganon. Both the shriveled up version and the beautiful red mane. Again, Akuma style Ganondorf. Just a little side note on Akuma. I always liked Akuma from Street Fighter. I just think he's just incredibly strong looking and intimidating. I feel like this Ganon in particular is like the spiritual embodiment of that Akuma. And I was always mad that I'm not really into fighting games. I'm just not. I like RPGs with lore and characters and adventure games with big worlds and stuff. Like I love that. So a fighting game just didn't have the anchors. The anchors just didn't hold me, you know? So I missed years of Akuma-ness. Now, on to one of my favorite entities, beings, cobbled together, polygon creation of Tears of the Kingdom, the dragons. Yes. Major spoiler ahead. Please, I beg of you, click off of this video if you made it this far. Dragons in this game went from being a simple decoration in the sky to actually being something that you can mount and get on to get resources in this game. Now, let me tell you, I was of the mindset for some weird reason that the flying dragons, the traditional like Japanese dragons, the long actual dragons with a bunch of legs, I thought they were just actually bosses for some reason. And that's because I didn't see the eye dragons, those big Ganon dragons with the stupid eye. I hate those guys. I have like 2 more to kill. So I thought those guys were bosses, and I felt like, okay, eventually I'll get to the chance where I get to like slay those flying dragons. They probably spit fire at you or something. Little did I know that those guys were actually on the side of righteousness, on the side of goodness, and it felt so good the first time being able to make my way up to the dragon on my little hover bike thing, or, you know, teleporting to a sky island and then like kind of like shimmying through the air to a dragon. It felt so epic, so wonderful. And to top it off, not only are the visuals here fantastic, but the music also adds to that sense of mystique. These dragons felt important, and I feel like Nintendo did everything in their power to make it seem that way, and for me, in my experience, it definitely worked. And so here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, right? We all know in The Legend of Zelda, there is the Master Sword, if you will. So this is Skyward Sword, right? So Link is holding the Master Sword. We all know the Master Sword. We've seen it for decades. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. In this universe of Zelda, I don't like the Master Sword because it's not the Master Sword, right? It is more so a temporary Master Sword, a plastic sword, if you will. To be completely honest, I felt like, okay, if that Master Sword is in this game, I kind of don't want it, because in Breath of the Wild, I ended up not using it that much because I just found better weapons that were more interesting, in my opinion. And I don't like the fact that the current Master Sword does not have Blade Beam. Blade Beam is something that has been around for the longest time, and the fact that it's not in here, at least I haven't found it yet, it really breaks my heart, because it's the Master Sword, man. The Master Sword, in my opinion, should be permanent. And I know it has a cooldown, so you're gonna say, yeah, it's permanent, man. It comes back after 10 minutes. That's too long, man. That's too long. And maybe you can customize it along the way to make it stronger and whatever, add more ingredients to the sword or what have you. And okay, I do like the fact that you can add materials to the Master Sword to change the property of it. Yes, I like that. I think it's cool. But the overall Master Sword, to me, I just like the old school Master Sword better. Now, the way you get the Master Sword, back to the dragons, it's all related. I'm not on a tangent. It's all related, right? Cyclical. The way in which you get the Master Sword in this game put a tear up under my eye, because it was so majestic. It was so majestic. I love this aspect of the story. It is probably my favorite part of the entire game. So here's what I said. The way in which you obtain the Master Sword is out of this world. I expected it in the Lost Woods by the ancient old Bach, known as the Great Tree, its traditional home. But after hunting for hours, it wasn't there. Until you get the quest, of course. The quest puts a marker on your map, and you see it moving around. So you're like, huh, it's in motion. I wonder what that means. I found this Master Sword. It was, in fact, wedged in the forehead of one of the dragons of Hyrule, dubbed the Dragon of Light. It was great. It was such a high point that I reloaded a previous save just to do it again. I did it twice, y'all. I did it twice. I felt like, again, the devs at this moment, they were like, we need to make this larger than life. And I know all of this is taking place behind the screen and all you have is a controller in your hand, but we at Nintendo can still give you a breathtaking experience, and boy did they do that. Me hunting down the Dragon of Light, right? Seeing the Dragon of Light, and here's the thing, it led to my addiction of hunting down the rest of dragons, and it was fantastic. So you have like a lightning dragon, an ice dragon, and I believe it's like a wind dragon, a fire dragon. They're like 4 dragons. And every single time I would see one, I'll just drop whatever I was doing. I'll auto-craft my hover bike and I would hover over there and just base jump or base float, because there's an updraft. So you can kind of glide up there with your little parasailer or whatever, and land on the back, hit the horns, and get whatever resources I got. But honestly, I was just doing it to be on top of those dragons because I loved the way they animate, the way they moved. It was just, in my opinion, top tier, right? And this is why I'm saying, yeah, graphics are cool and everything, but when you have good art direction in your game, you can just feel the passion through experiencing the game. And that's what I feel. I see it, I feel it, I hear it. It's great. And to top it off, they did one other cool thing with the dragons. The demon dragon? Ooh. Come on. Those of you who played it, come on. Put it in the comment section what you think about the dragons in this game. Was it lame to you? Like, did you think this was lame, this was fun? I can't get my KD up, so this isn't fun. Is that what you thought? Or did you think it was majestic? Or I don't know, maybe you was like, oh, it's too much flying, it's too much air under my paraglider or whatever. I don't know. I mean, we're all different, you know, it is what it is. The UI, like the graphics, are simple, but very easy to understand, very clean. And this is a holdover from Breath of the Wild. And I appreciate that. I think the UI visually is very good. Now, I have a few nitpicks about the UI, one of them being that during the cutscenes, I typically turn off captions because I feel like it distracts from the overall composition of whatever I'm looking at. So I tend to watch movies without captions because I want to get the whole breadth of what the director or artists are trying to show me, right? So I think that little captions on the bottom, it's constantly pulling my eye. Instead of looking at the facial expressions of the characters, I'm trying to read what they're saying. And that to me is a disconnect that I don't like. So in this game, you can't turn off captions. And not only can you not turn off captions, but the captions have no background and they're white. And there's a lot of white and bright in this game. So that can sometimes make it difficult to actually read the captions on the screen. Unfortunately, that is gonna lead me to my cons of the game. So this is for all the Tears of the Kingdom naysayers out there. I hope you like this portion. So the cons of this game, the first one that I'm gonna talk about is actually something that I really love. I talked about it earlier, was the fact that the inventory allows me to be creative by adding certain things to certain items, in particular, arrowheads, right? Now, Nintendo, I love your beautiful design. I love the clean white boxes and the beautiful sans serif text, right? Sans serif meaning it has no serif on the end. Sans means none, it's gone, it's not there. Makes it easy to read. Yes, I love that. That being said, while I am trying to look for my item to attach to my arrowhead, I have to scroll from here till the end of time to find what the hell I want. And I understand, yes, you can sort, but it sucks to have to scroll through your whole ass inventory. And it's not just monster parts, it's not just bombs and things you use, it's everything you cook with too. So you're talking about, I don't know, 100, 200 items that you have to scroll through by the end of the game just to find what you want. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. I feel like they need a new system. I am not a UI designer, so I can't tell you the best route, Nintendo, but man, please do not make me scroll until my forearms start hurting from holding down the D-pad button just to get to a gloom fruit or a bloom fruit or a fire fruit or whatever fruit or bomb that I need to get to. That is insane. It's insane. And you know what's weird? One of my most annoying things about this game is actually the Koroks. I hate the Koroks so much. I just want to set their little wooden barks on fire. I hate them so much. I hate them so much because, all right, there was a time in Zelda where you would find something and then it might not lead to like a heart piece. It might lead to, I don't know, some rupees or something else, right? But here in the environment, when you see something interesting and you go and you lift up the rock or you shoot a thing, one of these little fugly looking Korok things will pop out and do a little jingle or whatever and then disappear. And this is all in the process of getting more inventory spaces. And at one point, I actually did not want more inventory spaces because I knew that would lead to more scrolling, which was wrong. Very wrong of Nintendo to torture your players like that. Love your game. I think it's a masterpiece, but dang, man, that's a lot, Nintendo. That is a lot. So that's my biggest flaw with this game, which is actually more of a nitpick given how much I actually like my experience. Another con, as I said a couple of times in this video, you have to get resources. You can cook, right? So you have ingredients. One of those ingredients was actually fish. Now, a little fun fact about me, I love fishing in games. Like I literally replayed Final Fantasy 15 just to fish. Like, I love fishing in games. I don't like fishing in real life. It's too damn hot on the boat with the lines, with the water, and I gotta smell the fishy smell. And I used to go to the wharf as a kid with my mom, and I hated it. So I don't want to smell the fishy fish. But in a video game, please, they can put all kind of weird fishes in the game. Glowing fish, fish that don't exist, fantasy fish. And I love that, right? So the fact that in Tears of the Kingdom, right, which is weird because fishing was in other games, right? There is no fishing. There is no fishing rod. I can cobble up and craft anything. I can make a mech if I wanted to, but I can't make a fishing rod, Nintendo. That to me seems like a huge oversight, especially because fish are so good. They're so useful in this game. I loved fishing. I had to figure out like creative ways, like electrifying the water to zap the fish to make them all float up. That's unethical. Like, let me fish. I want to fish, man. Like, it's frustrating to me, man. Like, you know what sucked? Like, so they have the audacity. You're like, you know, I got bombs. I could just lob a bomb in the lake and get like 10 fish at once. No. Nintendo makes the heat from the explosion cook the fish. So instead of getting an ingredient, you're getting a partially cooked meal that only fills up like one heart. And you guys know who played Tears of the Kingdom, like, you gotta take pride in your cooking, because cooking does a lot. Like I was making slippery potions, all kind of elixirs, I was making all kind of things, and it was fantastic. But I just wanted some fishing, man. I'm just gonna have to read this one because this one is mind-boggling to me. Okay, Nintendo uses the same cutscene over and over and over ad nauseum, again and again. Right? I spent over 200 hours playing this game, so I think I have the right to make this complaint. It reuses the same cutscene to respawn all of the enemies, the annoying as hobo goblins. So many times I'll just be chilling and I'll see like little red gloom coming out the floor. And then Nintendo will stop my action or whatever I'm doing to bring me over to Zelda's voice. The blood moon rises. The blood moon is rising in the sky. The blood moon is coming to the sky. The blood moon is rising on the horizon. Then the blood moon is rising again and again. And it rises some more. And it keeps rising a little bit and a little bit more. And then halfway through the game, it's just a cutscene. The same cutscene. And the cutscene is compressed. It's not in 4K. Yeah, Nintendo, do better. Like literally, like I remember going to bed, right? Because I had to do a lot of sleep. I had to do a recovery thing or whatever. I'm good. My health is great. But anyway, I had to like rest and I would like play the game and I'll be down here on the couch and I'll like doze off. And then I'll have a dream about the blood moon rising. So I would constantly hear the blood moon rising in my head. And so it just became very irritating after a while. So after a while, I just started skipping it. Because after you saw the cutscene like once or twice, you can just kind of do without it. And for those who played Breath of the Wild, I can't remember right now because I'm kind of blanking. Did they not do a similar thing in that game as well? We need to start a petition. That's pretty much my thing. Like I love this game, right? So here are my overall thoughts. Definitely my favorite Zelda. I've played all the Zeldas, maybe not the CD-ROM one. That's not a real Zelda game, in my opinion. If you lack a sense of wonder, this game is not for you. If you need a constant dopamine punch, this isn't the game for you. It's a chill experience that constantly invites you to stop and take it all in. I did that more times than I can count. That action is becoming my favorite action to do in video games. Rotating the camera, taking it all in, slowly walking, not running or dashing through environments, but actually appreciating them, actually observing them, and actually allowing it to inspire me to make better work. That's the whole point of me playing video games. It's literally the thing that got me into art. Another thing that I have to mention to all my musicians out there, my two daughters are instrument players. One plays the trombone, the other one plays the clarinet. They're both in advanced programs for playing their retrospective instruments or whatever. My daughter, when I was beating the game, she came down and she just sat in the chair over there. And I could literally see her eyes watering up while being closed, just taking in the music, because she beat the game before me. She just wanted to hear that track again, to hear the clarinet playing in the track. And it's really special when you see your daughter being inspired by video games the same way you are from the visual side. So seeing that really touched me playing this game. So I can imagine her 25, 30 or whatever, playing that on her clarinet on my birthday. Okay. Check this out. As for the next Zelda game, I believe this was a fitting end to the epic tale. This felt like a worthy conclusion. Nintendo should move on from this open world universe now. I think it's time we let it rest and move on to something different. I would even be more willing to see a new art style, to be honest, even though the art style right here is damn near perfect. Just to see what else they can do. I have an idea. Hear me out real quick before you get off the video. Would be cool to start a spin-off game, because I know traditional Zelda fans will not take heed to this idea. So I have to say spin-off game, right? Where you're starring not Link, but the daughter of Link and Zelda. It's King and Queen. You star in the game The Legend of Locket. I don't know, it might be corny. But I just imagined those two getting together and having a child, a princess named Locket. And Locket would take advice from her dad's adventures on what to do when the inevitable demise we know as Ganon shows his ugly ass Akuma cool ass face. Yeah. Yeah, that would be dope, man. I just want it to be a girl so she can be called Locket. Because I think Link being the daddy and her being Locket, I think that's just cool. You know, I kind of got a little design in my head. But anyway, all right, man, that's beside the point. It's just an idea. So thank you to making it to the end of this video. I spent a long time writing these notes, and it is really hard staying motivated on YouTube. So the fact that you rocked with me until this point, I gotta say, heartfelt thank you. And if you've already forgot who I am, my name is Jabulani Ori, aka Jabu. I am actually a professional artist that's still trying to make it as an artist. Oof. So at the end of my videos, I would like to start giving art updates. So I've actually finished one of the pieces I was working on while making videos for this channel. That is this piece. This is Samawati. So this is Samawati. It took me a while to work on it, and I'm already working on my new painting. I'll put some B-roll of it in the video. But I would just like to say thank you to everyone, because a few people actually did go to my site and buy the shirt. The shirts are $30. I'm trying to make a living here, so thank you guys. I really appreciate that. So if you would like to see more of my work, you can simply head over to my website. That is jahbu.com, jabu.com. You'll find recent art that I have available over there. On Instagram, I am simply jahbu_art, jabu_art. I tend to do more of the artistic side over on Instagram. So for my next video, most likely, but not guaranteed, I will be talking about the game I'm actually really feeling so far. The game that you guys voted for, Metaphor ReFantazia. Man, Ooh, the voice work in the soundtrack is hitting. I'm actually thinking about it right now. Oh, so good. Thank you to everyone who took place in the recent poll. Metaphor ReFantazio came out on top. There was a total of 65 votes. You guys came out. I honestly love this voting system because it clarifies what you guys want to see on this channel. I am trying to build a small community of people here who actually appreciate games. I feel like the whole doom and gloom argument is kind of wearing me thin, and I refuse to buy into that Kool-Aid. You know why? Because of games like Tears of the Kingdom and a plethora of other games. If you wanted some example of great games, just look on my channel. I've made videos after video after video, and it's getting harder and harder to stay motivated in the drudgery of the nonsense that people are spewing online. Until next time, my wonderful people, let me know what you're playing in the comment section below. How did you like this video? What were your thoughts of Tears of the Kingdom? And so forth, so forth. I will answer your comments, or at least bare minimum, put a heart on it. If I put a heart on it, it means I actually love your comment. I don't just do it as a checklist. Anyway, until next time, my wonderful, beautiful people, one love, peace.